Hey everybody, I'm Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant, and this, the Sony a7 II sale going on right now, is such a unique opportunity for what I suspect is not a small number of you that I'm recording this on a Sunday morning and putting it out the same day. As in, if you've been looking to move into Sony's full-frame mirrorless world, whether from Sony's, Fuji's, or Panasonic's crop sensor lineups, or from Canon or Nikon, now that they've got full-frame mirrorless offerings, I think you need to look very closely at your priorities and budget to see if this deal works for you. At midnight last night, 11 hours ago, Adorama, B&H, and Amazon started offering Sony's a7 II full-frame mirrorless camera, which is the predecessor to the extraordinary a7 III, with a Sony 28 to 70mm zoom lens, extra battery, and charger for $998. Within Sony's own lineup, these same retailers are still selling the a7 II body only for $400 more than this sale bundle at $1,398. They're still selling the crop sensor A6500 body only. Same vintage, same IBIS technology, but APS-C for $200 more, $1,198. They're still selling the crop sensor non-IBIS A6300, which we own, body only, for just $100 less at $898, which, if you play your cards right, could still end up $100 more expensive than this A7 III bundle. Hold that thought. And they're selling the first generation A7 kit, same lens, for the same price, $998. The new Canon EOS R body only is more than twice as much at $2,300, but doesn't have IBIS. Hold that thought. Nikon's new full-frame mirrorless Z7 and Z6 bodies are 3.5 and 2 times the price, respectively, at $3,400 and $2,000. Well, once the Z6 ships anyway. As is Sony's own A7 III, $2,000, already named Camera of the Year by a number of folks, well-deserved. So let's get into what the a7 II is and isn't. The a7 II is a second-generation Sony full-frame mirrorless E-mount body, just as its name implies, which on the one hand means in-body image stabilization and improved ergonomics over the original A7, A7R, and A7S. Still far from my favorite ergos, I admit. Still PEZ-sized battery, still 30-minute recording limit, still smallish 0.71x EVF magnification even if at 2.4 million dots, still no twisty screen, still earlier Sony color science, which never bothered me, still first-generation Sony IBIS, which, while better than nothing, lags significantly behind the IBIS found in the third-generation Sony bodies, the A7 III, A7R III, and A9 at $2,000, $3,200, and $4,500 body-only, respectively. The latest Micro Four Thirds bodies from Panasonic, like the GH5, G9, and the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II at $1,700, $1,400, and $1,600, respectively. The APS-C Fuji X-H1 at $1,900, and the Nikon Z-Series. Although that IBIS beats that found in the brand new and outstanding $400 more expensive for the body-only Fujifilm X-T3, as in the X-T3 doesn't have IBIS. The a7 II still has first-generation Sony hybrid autofocus to hold that thought for another time. And okay, it doesn't record in 4K at all, while Sony's APS-C A6300 and A6500 and all the newer models I've just mentioned do. The Canon EOS R is a little bit funky that way. On the other hand, the a7 II's 24-megapixel sensor still scores a 90 over a DxO mark, and I know, leave the methodological critiques for another time, as I regard any shortcomings in DxO a consistent, systemic issue across all tested cameras, making it, to my mind, a non-issue, and it's still the most comprehensive database of its type out there. So, according to DxOMark, the a7 II's dynamic range actually exceeds that of the A9. Its portrait depth essentially matches the A9 and the excellent Nikon D850, and its low-light performance is actually only about half a stop under those cameras or the A7 III and A7S II. And, this is really interesting, matches or exceeds across the board both the $3,100 body-only price of the Canon 5D Mark IV, same 30-megapixel full-frame sensor found in the EOS R, by the way, and the $6,000 body-only 24-megapixel Leica SL, at least according to DxOMark. Sure, you can hunt eBay for something used, but you'll be hard-pressed to find as good a value for a piece of gear in new condition. So those are the pros and cons in a nutshell. I'm sure I've left some stuff out, but hey, I'm trying to get this out. And the clear recognition that there is an opportunity here to actually arbitrage retail prices for new gear. It rarely happens, but it's happening right now, in service of what I think is actually the real point, which is I have never seen anywhere near as good or inexpensive a way to get into the Sony full-frame lens system, including the exceptional G-Master line on the one hand, and a number of surprisingly affordable, high-quality optics at the other. So let's talk about that for a moment, because there's just no way around it. The 28-70 kit lens is not the sharpest tool in the shed, nor with its variable aperture f3.5 to 5.6, the best lens to coax the kind of shallow depth of field from the full-frame sensor, which I'm guessing you are likely most interested in for precisely that capability. So, if you were to buy the bundle and then sell off that lens, they're going for about $200 new, a little less than that used on eBay, you could bring the acquisition cost of the body down to about $800. At which point, you could let out a loud chortle and call it a day, or do what I'd recommend instead if you're so inclined. Pick up the Sony FE 50mm f1.8 for $250, Sony's version of a plastic fantastic nifty 50 with surprisingly good optical performance, if not the build and AF performance of Sony's higher-end glass. Or the FE 28mm, $450, which we own, or the $600 FE 85mm f1.8, which is excellent, and go to town, coaxing all you can from the promise of full frame at the end of 2018 at an unheard of price for the body. If that's what you're after, and the trade-offs make sense to you. If you like what you've seen here today, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, join the conversation below. You guys continue to be just incredible, knowledgeable, inspiring, funny. I mean, you're a joy, truly. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Grab one or both of our new Hold That Thought t-shirts you wanted us to put up at our new 3BMEPthreadless.com store. Support our work by using our affiliate links down below in the show notes, dropping us coffee money via our PayPal link down below in the show notes, or even better than that, we invite you to become a patron of our work over at Patreon. Link down below. We've created our Patreon page because we are stoked to bring you not only gear reviews, but with our What Were You Thinking and Good World Gone Bad series, historical, educational, artistic morsels, and longer form conversations, not interviews, with world-class photographers, curators, gallery owners, keepers of the legacy, folks like Elliot Irwitt, Anya Sear, Mark Lubell, Ethylene Staley, and friends like Brian Smith, Paul Giroux, Nino Rakicevic, and more. We'd really like you to join us to deliver this kind of content regularly. Your support on Patreon will really help us ramp it up. In which case, as always, we thank you for it. That's it. For Three Blind Men and an Elephant, I'm Hugh Brownstone. See you next time.